Hi, I'm back again with Debbie Reynolds. Thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you, Lee.
So we're continuing with this multi-part series talking about cell phone forensics. And
Right.
specifically, in this section, we're going to talk about the San Bernardino 2015 December attacker that unleashed terror, Syed Farook. And at the time when that happened, the FBI went to Apple and claimed that they needed assistance with unlocking the phone.
Right. So I remember this very well. This was maddening to me because a lot of the news reports, I don't think any of them correctly stated how cell phones actually work, and they sort of bungled the information about the cell phone. So a lot of the articles were trying to say that the only way they could unlock the cell phone is with Apple's help, and
that wasn't true.
No,
we knew it wasn't true.
true.
You know, I thought when they were doing that they might have said that to put out misinformation so that other people who were communicating with the terrorists might have thought that they were safe. You know, I was wondering if they might have done that on purpose so that people would keep their phones so that they could track and follow other people.
I don't know. My feeling was that the FBI or whomever was making this request was trying to create a precedent to be able to have people like Apple give them create vulnerabilities in phones that they don't have to do this one-on-one unlock feature. But why would Apple or any other company who's in the business to make money create a vulnerability that possibly could, be the antithesis of their invention? Like I wouldn't use a cell phone if I thought it was unsafe, right, or insecure. So.
Well, I just assume they're all insecure,
but as secure as it can be.
As secure as it can be. But Microsoft, Apple, they issue patches and updates for security flaws every month. So there's still bugs out there that can be exploited. But when that happened right away, I was wondering why didn't they call Celebrite? And ultimately, Celebrite, the Israeli firm, they're likely the ones who actually got the contract to unlock that phone.
Yeah, right.
But,
exactly.
But the whole notion of having a common key that law enforcement can quickly unlock any device without any judicial intervention is a little concerning.
It's very much concerning. It's like you're trying to boil the ocean to solve one problem. So,
well, and if you have one key, so someone in the FBI leaves and they take that key with them. Then they go and they leak it on the dark web. And this is the type of thing that's happened with contractors to various cyber agencies in the government, and then these keys get out there or weapons get out there and everyone's getting exploited, and it takes the government a long time to report it to Microsoft, to Apple, and everyone's getting hacked in the meantime.
Well, and there are a lot of other ways to get stuff off a phone. So I think of a phone as a gateway to other things. Even if you do banking on your phone, if you lose your phone, that doesn't mean that the information is lost. I mean, you can go to the bank. Companies can, serve affidavits on different entities that have other information. If a person was communicating with someone else, you may be able to crack their phone. So there are a lot of different ways to solve this problem that don't require creating a backdoor for a complete product.
Yeah, and to your point about the issue, when then Director James Comey had testified saying that they needed help, apparently the FBI's own remote phone specialization group hadn't been tasked with trying to get into the phone. So they hadn't fully explored their own capabilities before they went to ask for Apple, because, like you said, they wanted to establish precedent and they wanted to change how it worked. And I think we've consistently seen and heard that the FBI wants full access anytime so that they can protect people. And there's some issues with that, because if it's simple full access, it's going to make everyone less secure.
Absolutely. So I think, all of us, there was quite a bit of eye rolling when these reports were coming out about them not being able to do the cell phone, and it was like a lower version too. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like the super, with every cell phone they get more secure and better.
It's like, give me the cell phone, I'll get into it.
Exactly.
Call me up.
Call any. Even when they were interviewing people in the press, they weren't really interviewing the forensic people who do this for a living. So I'm like, who are they talking to?
All the computer forensic people I know, we talked about this, and the best plausible explanation that I could think of was, again, that they were trying to create a false narrative so that they could break up other people who were collaborating. But in fact, the Inspector General's report from the FBI revealed that they just hadn't fully done everything, and it sounds like it was two-part. It was part they wanted the power and access, but second, that the operational component of what happens. There's a more recent case that we'll talk about in a later series, and the question becomes then again is, have they used their own internal resources fully before they're going to Apple?
Or even have they leveraged people like Lee who do this for a living? So
exactly.
It was funny because when this case was going on, I had another case at the same time, had the same cell phone, and literally I sent it out and got it cracked like in a day. So I didn't understand what the issue was exactly.
Hey, what can I say? I'm good.
Exactly.
Well, tune in for our next segment where we'll be talking more about some of the privacy issues related to having a backdoor and some better solutions that if Congress and Senate, if they want to pass legislation, there are some ways that we can still allow for the FBI to get in without having a common backdoor key that doesn't undermine security.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.